One simple but versatile item I love using is a tension rod. In a pantry or refrigerator, I install the rod across the top and use binder clips to hang snacks, seasonings, or opened food packages. This makes use of unused overhead space and keeps items visible and easy to access. The packages are easier to see and access instead of being stacked in a cluttered pile. I also pair it with hooks to hang coats, hats, bags, and other everyday items. It's an inexpensive and effective way to add extra storage and keep your home more organized. If your shoe cabinet has unused space above, use wire baskets and tension rods to create extra storage levels. Simply install the rods inside the cabinet and hang wire baskets to store slippers and lightweight shoes. This maximizes vertical space and increases storage capacity without adding new shelves. It's a simple, affordable, and highly effective solution for small shoe cabinets. Tip: use tension curtain rods to create an extra storage shelf inside your closet. I use 2 adjustable curtain rods to make a simple additional shelf. Just secure the rods parallel to each other on both sides of the closet. This allows you to fully utilize the empty space above storage bins instead of leaving it unused. I love that it requires no drilling or complicated installation and can be removed or moved easily. The cabinet for pots and pans used to be really messy because pans, lids, and trays were always stacked on top of each other. Every time I wanted to take one item out, I had to lift the whole stack, which took time, made a lot of noise, and sometimes scratched the cookware. I tried using 2 adjustable tension curtain rods inside the cabinet, and it surprisingly made everything much more organized. I installed the 2 rods horizontally and parallel inside the cabinet to create separate sections for standing lids, pans, and cutting boards upright. Since they're adjustable tension rods, I just twisted them into place between the cabinet walls without drilling or using screws. Each lid or pan stays upright and easy to grab. Many people enjoy hanging flowers in front of their room door, but drilling holes or buying large decorative wreaths can be expensive and inconvenient. Using regular strings or hooks also makes the flowers shift around easily and look messy. With just an adjustable curtain rod and a pool noodle, you can create a simple but beautiful flower display. Slide the curtain rod through the pool noodle to make a thicker and softer base. Then stick artificial or dried flowers directly into the foam around it. The foam material helps hold the flower stems securely and makes the arrangement look cooler. Once finished, simply place the rod across the doorway or inside the door frame for a beautiful decoration without using nails or drilling holes. You can also easily switch the flower colors to match different seasons or holidays. Sometimes the simplest household items can turn into a decoration that makes the whole room feel warmer and more inviting. Rolls of aluminum foil or parchment paper are often bulky and tend to roll around inside kitchen drawers. Every time you need to use them, you have to pull the whole box out and find space to cut the sheet, which can feel inconvenient while cooking. A neat trick is to attach 2 adhesive wall hooks to the inside of a cabinet door, then slide an adjustable curtain rod through the center of the foil or parchment paper box. The rod holds the box securely in a horizontal position right on the cabinet door. This way, you can pull and cut the paper directly without removing the entire box. The box also stays in place instead of rolling around or falling whenever the cabinet door is opened or closed. This idea makes use of the empty space behind cabinet doors, keeps the countertop cleaner, and makes everyday cooking much more convenient. Sometimes, a small change in storage can make the kitchen feel far more organized and easier to use. After cleaning the kitchen or washing dishes, towels often don't have a dedicated place to hang, so they end up being left in different spots. Sometimes they're draped over the faucet, placed on the edge of the sink, or scattered around the kitchen. Not only does this make the sink area look messy, but the towels also struggle to dry properly when they're folded or piled together. Over time, they can develop a musty smell and become less hygienic. If you have the same problem, try reusing an old tension rod as a towel rack. I'm going to reuse an old tension curtain rod and turn the empty space under the sink into a handy towel storage area. First, I adjust the rods to match the width of the sink. Then, I simply twist them into place between the two sides. Once installed, I hang each towel on its own rod. Since the towels are spread out instead of piled together, air can circulate much better around them. The result is towels that stay dry, easy to grab, and a kitchen that looks much cleaner and more organized. There's often a lot of unused space at the top of a cabinet that's hard to make use of. Simply install 2 tension rods parallel to each other near the top of the cabinet. They fit securely between the cabinet walls without any drilling. Once installed, they create a simple extra shelf for additional storage. At first, this bookshelf always felt awkward because there was too much empty space inside. Whenever I placed books in it, they would lean and slide around, especially thinner paperbacks. Every time I pulled one book out, the rest would start collapsing and the whole shelf looked messy. I didn't want to drill anything or buy expensive organizers, so I decided to reuse an old pool noodle foam bar instead. Since the foam is lightweight and soft, it was really easy to trim to the size of the shelf. I simply measured the width and fitted the foam tightly inside to create a simple book stopper. What I love most is that the foam naturally presses against both sides of the shelf, so it stays in place without any glue. Once the books are arranged, the foam helps keep everything upright while also filling the unused empty space. The whole shelf instantly looks cleaner and much more organized. Then, I decided to turn the foam bar into a decorative piece too. One added a few tiny hanging accessories, mini charms, and colorful decorations to make the shelf look more playful and cozy. Since the foam surface is soft, it's super easy to pin or attach decorations without damaging the wooden shelf. Now, the shelf doesn't just store books anymore. It feels more like a small, decorative corner in the room. It's such a simple and inexpensive idea, but it makes the whole space look tidier, prettier, and much more personalized. Now, every time I look at the shelf, the whole room feels cleaner and more relaxing. Sometimes a very small change is enough to make a space feel warmer, more organized, and much more aesthetically pleasing.